Well, farmers across New South Wales are accusing the state government of using bullying tactics as it tries to pillage prime agricultural land to make its green agenda work. Joining me now is New South Wales Farmers Association Policy Director Nick Savage. Nick, help me understand what's going on here. They've got the renewable energy zones in New South Wales. They're basically trying to compulsorily acquire prime agricultural lands. They can put up kilometres and kilometres and kilometres of power lines. Exactly how big a space are we talking about here?
Okay, Caleb. Well, look, there's 5 renewable energy zones across New South Wales, huge areas of land, basically to concentrate the generation. So that's the wind towers and the solar installations around the state. And obviously to connect that to the grid, they've got to have grid lines. And so massive amount of grid lines to connect a lot of renewable energy zones, but also developments outside renewable energy zones. So huge amount of infrastructure going into regional New South Wales, obviously transitioning away from the coastal sort of orientation of where the coal-fired power stations were. And to us, it just seemed like, a nation-building project done on the back of a bee coaster. There just seems to be no realisation or planning around the impacts on regional land.
Well, surely this isn't ultimately good for the country. I mean, I get the argument we're moving towards renewable energy, we've got to put it somewhere. But when you're taking up prime agricultural land, and we are expecting our population to increase in Australia, we're expecting the population around the world to increase, are we not going to need that prime agricultural land more than ever in order to grow crops and run animals in order to feed all the people who will now be living here?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of challenges for agricultural land. There's urban expansion and environmental set-asides for a whole lot of reasons. And this is just another one that's not just taking up land, but also fragmenting land, where power lines go across properties that stop their operations and really impact on how people can make a living and how they can adapt to just the continued imposition on rural land through New South Wales.
So these farmers are basically, the government are riding roughshod over them. They're just coming in saying, we're going to take this land. Has there been any consultation? Have they been asked what they think? Or is it basically, we'll just give you wad of money and bugger off?
Well, there's money available, and there is opportunities in regional New South Wales for farmers to earn money from wind installations, solar installations, and some payments for grid lines. But what they don't understand is the huge impact it can have on operations and people's lives. And it's not about money, it's about avoiding these impacts on farming land. And that's where the government has done it really badly and consulted badly. They don't understand the depths of the problems that they're causing. And I really don't think they're understanding the depth of opposition they're starting to get across regional New South Wales.
Well, devil's advocate, what's the alternative? If they don't buy up this land, where do they put the grid lines?
Well, there's public land, Caleb. There's better consultation with farmers to make sure that if they do cross their land, that they don't put it right next to their house or to really interrupt their operations. There's opportunities to underground lines in areas where that would mitigate the problems. And a lot of other things, third-party impacts to people that aren't earning any money from this transition and ruining their lives by 300-metre wind towers next to them or massive 1,000-hectare solar panels next to them as well. So it's really a lack of understanding, Caleb, that's the key issue here. And I think if the government doesn't really make an effort, it's just going to draw out the time that this is going to take. And I think we all understand we need to transition baseline power.
Well, Nick, while I've got you, I just want to ask you as well, we've seen in WA over the weekend, they brought in this new Cultural Heritage Act, which basically means anyone who's got a large amount of land, which is a lot of farmers, will need to go and talk to a bureaucratic body if they want to put a post in the ground or a fence or plant a tree or something. That's WA, but is there any concern that this is something that could perhaps spread across the country into South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, etc.?
Well, definitely, yeah. I mean, in 2016 or 17 in New South Wales, the previous government was looking to draw up an Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Bill, and certainly in the last term of Parliament, Reverend Nile brought one up to the upper house as well. Look, the current protection of Aboriginal cultural heritage in New South Wales is not good enough. I think it's in the National Park and Wildlife Act. So I think everyone realises it can be done better. But certainly the last two draft bills in New South Wales would be a disaster for regional New South Wales.
Nick Savage, thank you for joining me tonight.